Very well. Very nice to talk to you.
So, Kathy, do you want to, do you mind introducing yourself so that we know a little bit more about you and your business?
Of course. Yeah, my name is Kathy Soulsby and I run Personally Virtual, which is a virtual assistant company. And we do administration, project management, event management to make people's lives easier. Typically working for small companies, sole traders, 1 to 3 man bands who don't need a whole PA but might need a bit of a PA. So we can just step in, help them out where needed on an ad hoc basis or on a rolling basis, depending on what they need. So that's what I do. How about you? Tell me a bit about 10 to 8.
So yeah, when we started talking, we met at the Great Business Show, and I was telling you about 10 to 8 and how we help small businesses, and we thought immediately, oh, we tend to help the same people, and I said how we run a appointment management software and online diary. And you said, "Oh, that's really interesting." And instead of thinking, what struck me is that we didn't feel that we were competitors at all, which we could have. But we tried to see, or we immediately tried to think of ways in which we could be helpful together to our clients. And that's why I wanted to have a chat with you today to see how the combination of 10 to 8 and a virtual PA can be a winning combination for a small business, and that it's not, well, 10 to 8 is a free system for most small businesses. Why you don't need to be a millionaire to need a PA and to help, and why it makes a lot of sense to use both a diary system and a PA to get your business growing quicker.
Yeah, I as soon as you told me about the 10 to 8 system, I thought, what a fantastic idea for businesses that have to book a lot of meetings, because it's really hard when you're a small business. You're doing the work to earn the money, and yet quite often you're trying to book meetings to make the money, and you can't be in 2 places at once. And the 10 to 8 system means that you can get your customers to book their own sessions as and when you want them to have the time to do that. But with VA, we do diary bookings. We do a little bit more than that as well. So we would do things like sorting out your expense receipts, and everyone wants that. I don't know anyone who likes doing their expense receipts. Booking your meetings, but maybe more the sales meetings. So not ones where customers are coming to you, but ones where you've got to be a bit more proactive and push a bit harder. So you want an actual person doing that pushing, as well as, of course, things like diary management, invoicing, typing, all sorts of, basically a spare pair of hands is what a VA is. I'd quite like my own as well. I'd like a cleaner and a VA, and I think everyone in the world would, if they could, have those things. But the 10 to 8 and a VA actually work quite nicely together, I think, because you need somebody to manage your 10 to 8 system. So you would want an intelligent pair of eyes looking over your calendar, sorting out when you want your available times to be on 10 to 8, what locations they are potentially, and also making sure that that's kept up to date and it syncs with your diary anyway. But it would make a VA's life much easier if she worked for you and cut down the number of hours she'd have to do, I would say, if you use both in conjunction. So that's how I would see it working together.
We were talking about invoicing and how you help people with invoicing, and you know about doing expenses, which yes, you need to do, but if you don't invoice people, you're not going to get any money, and if you don't get any money, you're never going to grow.
No, and as well as doing the invoicing, you also need to get paid for those invoices, which can be a challenge all of its own, as my accountant never fails to tell me. It's not just a matter of invoicing, it's a matter of getting them paid. And having somebody that isn't you doing that chasing is actually a real benefit, because it's horrible if you've got a client and you've got to ring them and say, sorry, I haven't seen any money come through. Having somebody else do that gives you that little barrier, which means that you're just one step removed, so you can continue your nice client relationship, whilst I or another VA could be doing the behind the scenes chasing for that invoice. And besides which, if you don't invoice sometimes, you say, it gets a bit chaotic and customers don't know when to expect it. It's kind of a standard business thing, and it's surprising how many small businesses just kind of invoice when they get around to it, as opposed to, you know, at the end of every month or quarterly, whenever they're meant to. And it's not great for customers, because they get out of the habit of expecting a monthly invoice. So yeah, invoicing is a really good one that VAs do, definitely.
We just did quite a well, we've now allowed people to take online payments, but as we were discussing, you know, it's not every business that can put their prices online and get people to pay, because a lot of them will have to, as you said, you will need to go and book them to meet people and give them a quotation, and then the quotation will be a bespoke work.
So you save people time, a lot of time on booking appointments. What other things do you think are what makes 10 to 8 really efficient for small businesses?
I think one of the key benefits they see in the system is how it helps them be more professional towards their customers, because all their meetings get reminded, because people see that from the website there is a call to action which is very clear. You can book a time or a chat or an actual appointment, and all this just makes you look like a professional business. And I think this is where you would help as well, don't you think? I mean, especially if the invoice goes straight after the appointment, that's perfect.
Exactly. And then invoice, and also booking meetings, sales meetings, having somebody in the office, as it were, just makes your business seem bigger than it is, because your clients or the people you're speaking to don't know that I'm a VA. They would just, you know, I would be Kathy at whatever your company is. That would be my email, and they don't know I might only work an hour a week or half an hour a week for you. It wouldn't particularly come up, and it's becoming surprisingly more common. I see on auto signatures now people's details and then at the bottom VA. So it's noticeably getting more common, and people are using a VA because it's cost effective way of doing it. There's no national insurance. You don't have to rent an office to put somebody in. You literally just pay for their time, which, you know, is fantastic if you just need somebody to help you with a crisis in the moment, or on a regular basis, as you say, you get on top of things, so you're not doing it just before the VAT return, dealing with 3 boxes of paperwork that you should have dealt with as and when. So,
and how do you get to know your customers if you don't? Because I think that's what a lot of people ask me. They say, well, how do you get to know your VA?
well, you spend a lot of time talking on the phone, and I do like to meet my customers. I think it would be very, very weird to work with somebody I've never met, so I would meet them. But by and large, I would say you can manage really well as long as you have regular catch-ups by Skype or by phone, and you do keep in regular contact. You actually get to know somebody pretty well. I've got a meeting with one client in a couple of weeks. I haven't seen him for probably a year. So I mean, but I speak to him 3 or 4 times a week. So we do have that continuous contact. Yeah, it's just keeping in touch, really. Other clients I don't need to speak to so much, if it's a very transactional thing, just invoicing or just. But it's always important to get to know people you're working with, because people work for people, don't they? It's not a technical world. People come into it. Customers don't book with people they don't like. At the end of the day, it's got to be about the people. So yeah, it's really important. Definitely.
That's good. That's good to see that, even though you're virtual, you're not virtual to the business owner.
Yes, I'm virtual, but I'm not remote. That's how I like to think of it.
That's a good definition.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, I think somehow you get to know more different businesses, so you can help them benefit from each other. A bit like in our 10 to 8 support community, people, I get questions from people saying, yeah, but you don't deal with just osteopath. And that's right, we don't deal with just osteopath, but sometimes we get asked questions from beauty therapists who get us to develop features that maybe the osteopath will benefit from.
Yeah.
So I think I like to have a community which is of mixed companies, because they can help each other, they can learn from each other, they can get tips from each other. And yes, it's good to get people from the same industry because you get deeper expertise, but it's also good to kind of get fertilization from other places. And I guess for you, it would be a bit the same.
Very much so. Yeah, very much so. And I will discover something with one client and think, oh, that's a brilliant idea, and then suggest it to another client. So I've discovered 10 to 8 at our networking session the other week. And I know other VAs have now suggested it to their clients, because we will pass information between us. Because, if you come up with something brilliant or you find something out, you pass it on and everyone gets to benefit from it. And it's the same with the community. Everyone might have learned a really good way of doing something, and everyone can benefit from that. So it's great. You've got a wide old mix of clients. What's your, I know you mentioned osteopaths and beauty therapists. What's the most unlikely company you've got?
Well, there's a farrier who started using the system, and I had to look up the word because I'm French and I didn't know what it meant. But there's I spoke to people the other day who were doing a photo booth for parties.
Oh,
I know.
I never knew such a thing.
No, me neither. I thought, wow, I didn't know that existed.
No.
I've discovered loads of beauty treatments which I didn't know existed. I learn a lot from all my clients, but and because it's free, people try to see how it can help them have a bigger and more professional online presence, and it's great because it feels helpful, and if it helps them grow, that's the purpose.
Yeah.
And you also you deal with loads of different businesses.
Lots of different businesses. Yeah. So at the moment, I've got a photographer on the books, a school photographer, several consultants, management consultants, and a coach, and an SEO company, and a gardener. So a real mixture of different places. And I was thinking the other day about consultants, because it's one of the few areas where 10 to 8 wouldn't naturally come to mind. But actually, one of the things that I have booked for them in the past is 360 interviews, which tend to be 5 phone calls per person. And booking those, I think I had 164 last time. Imagine booking 164 phone calls. And there's no reason why you couldn't get people to do it online through 10 to 8. And that would work brilliantly. I wish I'd have known about it then. It might have saved me several days of stressed phone calls. And in some ways, you'd still probably need to chase people up. But in the first instance, they could just find a time slot that worked, or their PA could find a time slot that worked. Most of them had PAs. But you know, how many hundreds of emails would that have saved on the backwards, forwards, time difference, this time difference, traveling? If they could just look at an availability slot and book it in live, you know, that would be brilliant. So I can certainly see how in the most unexpected ways you could use it for different things. Yeah.
And I think that's why I'm really keen to work with VAs, because I think if you help people focus on what helps their business really grow and spend more time with their clients, then you know, we're really in the same business, which is taking all the admin time away from them and all the things that they don't want to do. And what I found really useful in our conversation was how much of a focus you had on trying to minimize the time you spend on doing the boring things as well.
Yeah, definitely. Because so in the case of some of my clients, they bill by the hour as I do, but their hourly rate is obviously a lot higher than mine because what they do is very skilled. So why would they spend one of their work hours filling in a spreadsheet when they could have me do it a lot cheaper? So it's an economy thing as much as anything else. Even if they didn't have paid work, they could be out selling to a new client or just, you know, sitting in the sun with their kids, because quite often all this admin stuff gets shoved to weekends and evenings. So people spend a miserable Sunday night in a pile of paperwork, getting very cross, wishing it would all go away. So there was definitely something to be said for just handing it over to someone else and getting it done efficiently and quickly, rather than letting it mount up. Definitely.
But also the fact that you are looking at improving the way you work for them and finding tips for them to work better so that they spend as little as possible, so your time is as valuable to them as possible. I find that really important and interesting.
Yeah, but it's I suppose it's a VA PA thing, isn't it? We're all about organising, we're all about time management. So if there is a way of making us more efficient, that is therefore going to be more cost effective for our clients, we love it. I don't know any PAs that don't leap on an idea of time saving or anything for their clients, actually, that will benefit their clients. We get very excited about that kind of thing, and it means that actually more of the skilled things that we could be doing, we can spend more of our time on there. So clients, they either may not need to spend so much on us, or they could have us doing things to build their business more. So, you know, more marketing, doing some social media for them, writing some blogs, those types of things, which if you were spending all the time on the phone just confirming appointments with people, yes, it's valuable, but it's not maybe as needed as other things if it can be done with a system, which 10 to 8 does. So, you know, it's perfect.
Okay, so will we come up with some kind of combined offer, do you think, for 10 to 8 customers and your clients that we can put on both our websites and that people can go to if they're interested? Do you think that would be a good idea?
Yeah, I think that would be brilliant, because there's so many businesses that I think both could run along simultaneously really, really nicely. I think that would be a really good idea. And hopefully we can save them all lots of money and time.
Excellent. Okay, well, we'll work on this and put it up on our websites. And yeah.
Brilliant.
Good. And nice speaking to you, Kathy.
And you, Anne.
And looking forward to working together.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.